I found my son passed out at his computer desk and was about to drape a blanket over him until I saw the forum post on his screen where he called me a cheapy bourgeois and wished I would die early so he could be free. To understand how my sacrifice turned into his hatred, you have to look at the life I built for him. For years, I worked myself into the ground, grinding tirelessly to afford premium food, private tutors, and a comfortable life for my family. I thought I was being a good mother by prioritizing his health and education over fleeting entertainment. But as I scrolled through his online history, I realized my love was his prison. He trashed me to strangers, complaining that I wasted money on steak and lamb chops instead of funding his gaming addiction. He praised his father's mistress, a woman I didn't even know existed, calling her his actual mom because she loaded his account with coins and played video games with him. The betrayal didn't stop there. He posted a chilling plan for his upcoming birthday. He was going to demand $500 for game skins, and if I refused, he vowed to treat me as nothing more than a money-making tool. From that day forward, my heart sank like a stone. The son who once told me I was the best mother in the world now looked at me with undisguised contempt. So, when Ethan walked into my room, demanding lunch, expecting the usual service, I flipped the script. I told him I wasn't cooking anymore. I refused his demand for the $500 birthday money, telling him to ask his father instead. His shock quickly morphed into rage, accusing me of treating him like a studying machine, but I stood my ground. The next day, instead of slaving over a hot stove for his birthday feast, I went out. I bought expensive clothes, got a facial, and dined at a high-end restaurant alone. I was done raising an ungrateful brat. From now on, I would only love myself. But as I sat there enjoying my freedom, I checked his forum one last time, and his latest update made my blood run cold. My son didn't just forget my birthday. He celebrated with his father's mistress, calling her his other mom and declaring online that she was the best woman in his life, while labeling me a psycho. He couldn't wait to escape. To understand why, I finally gave up on my own child. You have to witness the level of his deception. Ethan took to his online forum, bragging that his other mom, Kelly Brooks, the 25-year-old receptionist at my husband's tiny company, understood him better than I ever could, because she loaded his gaming account with cash. He boldly announced he was bringing her to the parent-teacher conference, instead of me, convinced that his father would eventually divorce me so they could be a happy family. I decided to call his bluff. I volunteered to attend the conference for my best friend's daughter, who happened to be in the same class, just to see this charade unfold. I sat in the back of the classroom and watched as Kelly, young and clueless, told the teacher that our son wouldn't be taking the SATs because they just wanted him to be happy and healthy. The teacher, confused because I had spent years advocating for Ethan's education, pointed directly at me and asked, "Ethan, your mom is sitting right there. What is going on?" The room exploded with whispers. Ethan, cornered and desperate, stood up and delivered a lie so effortless it chilled my soul. He looked everyone in the eye and claimed that his real mom died young, that Kelly was his father's new wife, and that I was just his aunt who had pretended to be his mother, so he wouldn't get bullied. He erased my entire existence, without a trace of guilt. When the teacher looked to me for confirmation, I didn't fight for him. I let him have his fantasy. I looked her dead in the eye, and confirmed that yes, Kelly Brooks was his real mother, and from now on, she would be responsible for his future. My husband didn't just sell my parents' burial plots. He sold their actual ashes to strangers for ghost marriages, because he needed quick cash, shattering their eternal rest for a profit. To understand the depth of this depravity, you have to see how quickly my family crumbled. After my son Ethan publicly disowned me at school, claiming his real mom was my husband's mistress to save face, he expected me to be angry about him quitting the SATs. Instead, I felt nothing. I smiled coldly, realizing I was finally free from the financial burden of his college, his future car, his wedding. I had already mentally resigned from being his mother. That night, my husband David called, demanding his usual $20,000 allowance for his failed business ventures, unaware I knew about his affair. When I told him I spent the money on a gold bracelet for myself, the first luxury I'd bought in years of 15-hour workdays, he exploded, bombarding me with abusive texts I refused to read. I gave him the same silence he had given me for years. But 2 days later, a call from the cemetery brought me to my knees. The staff informed me that David had dug up my parents' ashes and sold them separately, my mother to a dead elderly man and my father to a deceased virgin woman, splitting them apart in death to fuel his greed. As I stood there shaking with rage, David walked through the door, complaining about a dead phone battery, completely oblivious to his crime. My son marched past me demanding garlic butter shrimp, like nothing had happened. I watched them, these two monsters I had fed and housed, and finally broke my silence, screaming the question that would end our family forever. Where did you sell my parents' ashes? Welcome to share your feelings in the comments section. Remember to like and subscribe, and if you want to see more story content, please check out the other videos on my channel.